The Oklahoma City Public School Board will have its weekly meeting tonight, 5:30 here on Monday night. On the agenda tonight is a charter expansion plan. Here to tell us more about this, to kind of preview things, to explain why it's on the docket and all that, Mr. Stanley Hupfeld. Great to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I know you had an interview, a conversation with our Tim Willard earlier today, kind of previewing this, and appreciate you stopping by our downtown studio. And downtown's certainly nothing new to you, former longtime Integris Health CEO. You have a school named after you, and you're on the John Rex board as well. So you know all about the ins and outs of corporate CEO, education, and charter. Why is this important?
I think the opportunity we have here to do something with a collaborative venture between the Oklahoma City Public Schools and 3 really good charters is unique in that it'll set the tone. It'll say to the community that, and we're calling this program the Quality Seats Program, because we want to indicate that no matter where a child physically resides, that we're dedicated, regardless of the ownership and the management, to ensuring that they have the very best education. So these are 3 separate proposals. The John Rex.
So tonight at the board meeting, you're going to present 3 different proposals.
What we're going to do tonight is simply lay the groundwork, and simply sort of prepare and till the field a little bit.
Gauge some community awareness.
Gauge and inform the community, certainly inform the board. 3 marvelous charters, the John Rex downtown, KIPP Academies, and Santa Fe, all with great reputations in different parts of the town. All 3 of them addressing minority communities in a very powerful way. And all 3 proposals will stand or fall on their own. And they will be coming back in the future months after having gauged community reaction, after having determined that there is a desire in those various communities for the footprint of those 3 charters to expand. The board will get to decide. It could approve none of them, could approve all 3, could approve 1 or 2. But that's in the future. Tonight, we're simply laying the predicate and saying this is an opportunity for the public school system, led by a very forward-thinking superintendent and his team, with a group of public officials that sort of get it and that want to do the right thing. And we're just laying out the opportunity and telling them what's going to happen in the future after a series of public events and public meetings to determine the willingness, the interest of those communities in those 3 charters expanding their footprint. So we'll either find out after that process that there's no interest and the projects will be dropped, or there's great interest and we'll proceed. So tonight's just sort of laying the groundwork, setting the tone, telling them what's important. In my mind, the reason I'm so excited about this is because in most communities what you see is a reasonable amount of tension between charter schools and the public school system.
And why is that?
Well, a lot of reasons, philosophical perhaps, certainly financial. If you have charter schools that do not have boundaries, what they often do is take 1 child from one school, 2 children from this school. They tend to drain those schools of their better students. They tend to drain those schools of their more involved parents. But they also get the revenue stream. And the revenue follows the kid.
And the public school, though, is left with the expense.
And the public school is left with the expense. So it's philosophical and it's also financial. So what we're saying is we have an opportunity here because the timing is right. You've got 3 really good charters. You've got a very good management team at the public school system. You have an enlightened board. If it turns out, and this is the key, if it turns out that these communities really do want these charters to expand their footprint, and they're agreeable to that, and they're excited about that, that information will be taken in consideration by the school board, and then they will act to approve, as I say, all 3 of the proposals, or 1 of them, or 2 of them.
Let's look at one scenario, John Rex here in downtown. How has that gone, and what are you hearing from the people who work and live down here beyond, once their kid gets out of John Rex, now what?
Well, John Rex is we call it a public-private partnership, and it is a microcosm of what this all could grow into. What John Rex is, it is as diverse a school as there is in this whole area, because we have people who live in the immediate downtown area, surrounding downtown, and as you know, surrounding downtown there are some depressed neighborhoods. Those kids come to John Rex. They get first call to come to John Rex. In addition to that, we have people that work downtown. They work at the big banks or the oil companies, highly educated, highly motivated. Their children come to John Rex if they want to. Then we have the opportunity for people in other school districts that they want to transfer into John Rex. So once you go to John Rex, you see a great building in the heart of downtown, very diverse population, and parents that are enormously excited about what their kids getting to go through. And part of the reason for the John Rex board's enthusiasm was the fact that the parents began to come to us and say, when our child finishes the 5th grade at John Rex, we'd like them to stay in this environment. And so we thought to ourselves, well, perhaps we need to be looking at a middle school and maybe even eventually a high school, all downtown.
Is that part of the proposal? There might be location?
What will be part of the proposal is, yes, if we're going to expand to a middle school and a high school, you obviously need more grade schools to feed you. So the concept is that we will explore in those communities, in those districts where people live in the immediate area, we will explore their interest through a series of town hall meetings. And if that goes well, and we can secure the financing, and the nice thing about charter schools is they often bring a lot of private money into the school system that wasn't there heretofore. So if all those things fall in line, the community wants it, is enthusiastic about it, and we can see our way clear either through bond issues or public or private financing, and all the things sort of click, then yes, and that's what will be ultimately presented to the school board, and the school board will, in its wisdom, judge the merits of it and either approve it or not.
What could a timeline be? Just ballpark it.
Well, probably if everything fell into place, you're looking at 2017 for it all to fall into place and the schools to come under that umbrella.
You mentioned the Oklahoma City Public Schools Superintendent, Mr. Rob New.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know you guys certainly had a conversation. What's his feedback so far?
Well, what his feedback is that if we do our homework, and if we have public meetings, and only if we get a very clear signal that this is something that the parents and the communities want in those areas, only if and then will we move forward, and will he recommend to his board that this process proceed.
One last question for you. Charter and public schools, are there any models out there that you look at from around the nation? Success stories of charters and public schools working well together?
Well, I think you've got success stories right here.
Okay.
You look at the little school that I'm involved in, the Stanley Hupfeld Academy. It's a huge success story with great enthusiasm by the parents and by the teachers. So what I cannot stress enough is the fact that the stars are sort of aligning in the right way because of the attitude of management at the school district, a very forward-thinking board, really good charter schools, all saying, let's forget about ideology, let's figure out a way to ensure that the kids get the best. And let's work together. Let's help train each other's teachers, let's work together on methodologies and things like that. And if we do this, it's something that hasn't been done anywhere else. That's what's so very powerful. And given the attitude in Oklahoma, it also is about choice, because we're not moving ahead unless these parents say, yeah, this is the choice we want to make. So this is a collaboration unheard of in most other communities, and we should be very proud of it.
School board meeting will be tonight. As we do this interview, it's Monday, so it's Monday night, 5:30 p.m. Our Tim Willard will be there. Full coverage in the Oklahoman and online at newsok.com. Mr. Stanley Hupfeld, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for walking me through this conversation.
Okay,
enjoyed it.
Thanks.